Welcome to Minnesota Black and Blue. We are looking forward to the match against Philadelphia Union. What do you think?
Well, I'm really looking forward to it because we need to change our form. This game against Atlanta was really difficult, and I'm hoping we can turn it around in our next match.
Yeah, a bit of a unfortunate result. Not really, typical of how we've been playing this season. It was a bit of an anomaly of a game. I mean, you look back, we beat Houston before this and Columbus before that as well. 1-0, back-to-back 1-0 results. Go to Atlanta. We didn't have Metanire, which was, it changed how we played. We played with three at the back, which we haven't really played much this season. So
I think that was a big difference. The defensive structure being three at the back. It's not our best formation, and also just not having Metanire on the field. That's a big loss for the team.
Yeah, Metanire having a lot of. He's been in the MLS Team of the Week a lot this year already, and looks like he just keeps getting better every week.
I think he's the best right back in the league right now.
I would agree with you there. I think he's crucial to how we play right now and going forward. If we want to have a chance of not just qualifying for the playoffs, but actually having a shot to win it, we have to make sure we keep him. This season coming seasons going forward. And keep him healthy as much as we can, and maybe add to the rest of our team to just give us the best chance going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think about, you mentioned how our form was good going into the Atlanta game, and that's true. And what I remember is last season, Adrian Heath talking about how the club needed to start winning those close games, those 1-0 matches. And we were doing that this year. And so that's why I think the Atlanta game was an anomaly. It did stick out. But there's a couple of reasons for it, as we pointed out. I mean, the Metanire absence and then three at the back instead of a back four, that was pretty big.
Yeah, those are the reasons that kind of, I feel like the game felt a little different. But at the same time, that 75th minute decision to not review the, potential goal, I reviewed it and I looked at it afterwards for a long time, and I still can't come to a conclusion whether it's a goal or not. It's close.
Yeah.
I think they definitely should have spent more time looking at that during the game. It was kind of strange decision to not look at it closer. They have the use of VAR. I think they should have used it there.
Yeah, VAR, and then ideally goal line technology, where it's just a black and white question would be the best way to review close calls like that.
Yeah, that would be ideal, but unfortunately that didn't go our way. And then in the 90th minute, we broke down. Not really characteristic of our team. We don't usually concede a lot of goals this season, and then 2 in the 90th minute was kind of, it hurt. It didn't reflect the game, I feel.
Yeah, I think going back to that 75th minute decision, or should I say non-decision, it was 1-0. That potential goal, would have tied it up. That could have been the difference in the game right there.
Yeah, I think, had that decision gone our way, it would have been a different game. Maybe get a result. And then going into this Philadelphia game, we'd have more momentum. I feel like we still have that momentum, of the win against Houston and Columbus and, the great form we've had this season. But I think that might be something that, we have to be wary of going into this game. We know that we should have had a result maybe against Atlanta, and now we have to, shake it off.
Yeah, and I mean, it's an interesting game for both teams because Philadelphia have been going through their own little bit of a slump, and we had one bad game, and I think our hope is to return to the positive form of the previous games, but they're in a bit of a slump, and those are always dangerous teams to meet.
Yeah, Philadelphia coming off against a draw against bottom of the conference, Colorado, and then a 3-1 loss to Portland, and a 0-0 draw to Seattle. It's not, they're not hitting their top form, and they're not showing in their last 3 games why they're second in their conference. I think, they have a really good team. They've got great players all around the park. They're not just one marquee player surrounded by a bunch of players that don't know what they're doing. They're spreading their goals. I haven't seen much of them this season, but just by looking at who they have and how they the results they're getting, they're doing well with players like Marco Fabian. They've got Andre Blake in goal. They've got a lot of quality players all around the field.
Yeah, and I mean, the question is going to be who's going to change course really here. Is it going to be Philadelphia that breaks their slump, or are we going to go back to our winning ways? That's kind of the question that we have to see. And fortunately, we don't have any major injuries to report. We're going into this with, Bobby Shuttleworth is out, and Carter Manley is out again. And so, there's no question about who our goalie's going to be.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty, Metanire has been fantastic for us this season. I think he definitely helps us in more on transition from, when he gets the ball, his distribution is incredible. I mean, Shuttleworth did fantastic for us last season, but I think Metanire just offers a different dimension, creating attacks from the goal. Something that we weren't able to do as much with Shuttleworth last season.
He just, in my opinion, Metanire just offers another level of class to the team. I mean, it is something, hopefully the other goalies can take their cue from him, because he's got the pedigree, the Premier League background, playing at top level leagues around the world. He's somebody that can show us how it's done.
I agree. And then, looking at other players in our team, maybe on the other side of the coin, we've got Quintero, who's not playing to his level that we know him as. He hasn't been scoring the goals that we know that he can get every single week. And he just, it's been a couple weeks since we've seen him score. And I think, he's such a quality player. He eventually will get back to form.
You see him, you do see him trying to push it a little bit. He's trying to break his run of form right now. And it almost looks like he's trying a little too hard. There's no question that he's going to get out of it. I mean, he's going to find his way. And I like that Adrian Heath is giving him time to do it. There's undeniable quality and talent with him, and we need him on the pitch. Even if he's not scoring, he's contributing.
I think that's fair to say. And then, I heard this article, I saw this article that was posted on MLS Soccer that said that, Manny Lagos was saying how, getting rid of Calvo, and getting rid of Ibarra on loan, Romario Ibarra, that is. We have this space in our team to potentially strengthen in a couple spots. Our left back slot is something that we've been rotating through. We had Miller there, we've had Ibarra there, and we've had Dotson recently play a couple games there. I think going forward, I would like out of those three, Hassani Dotson has seemed like he belongs, and he's done a really, really good job there. It's not his natural position exactly, but I think he's done fantastic there. But, we have the funds available. I would be interested to see maybe add somebody to that left back slot that could provide competition, or maybe even, some big name player that could, really bolster that defense and just complete it and make us a really, really good defensive force.
Yeah, and I read that article by Tom Bogert that you mentioned, and he's quoting Manny Lagos as saying that he is focusing on the left back position. So that money that he's recovering from the loan and from the sale of Calvo, he's targeting that left back position. So he sees it as an area where we can improve. That being said, look what we have there. We've got Hassani Dotson, we've got Eric Miller, we've got Ibarra coming back to play that position as well. Of the three of them, I'm curious to hear what you think the best option is. I personally think that Hassani Dotson, despite his youth and inexperience, has shown that he's ready to take that position.
I think he, of the three, is the best option. he's done a really good job in the 2 games that I've seen him play there, and I think, Ibarra is more of an attacking-minded player. I'd rather see him further up the field, and, if he can compete for those wing spots, if he doesn't get in the lineup, he's a really good option off the bench, I think, contributing really well from the bench when he has come off the bench. Yeah. And then Eric Miller, I think right now he's not in his best form. If he comes back to form, he'll provide good competition for that left back slot with Dotson. But, going forward, we might want another player that can play that fullback spot because Dotson, it isn't his natural position, so he could move to maybe like a central midfield role or maybe on the other side as a right back or something as a backup for Metanire because he's also been fantastic.
It's impossible to replace Metanire right now.
I think I can agree with you on that.
Yeah. So the other thing we talked about is how when Metanire was out, we had to go to 3 at the back, and Metanire coming back in now for Philadelphia. You're predicting a back 4 again?
I'm predicting back 4. I'm going with Monone going to stay in net, Metanire right back, center backs. I'm going to put Coleman and I'll put Boxall. I think Opara, he had that mistake against Atlanta that cost us a goal. I don't think it was, something that we have to worry about going forward, but I think, that you just have to keep that in mind that did happen, and I think, Boxall and Coleman, I think Coleman has been fantastic this season. Boxall has had his moments, I think, and then Dotson at left back probably to finish out our back 4. I think our midfield, I'd put Grey Goose and Alonso. I think they've both been fantastic for us. And then I'd keep our normal attacking lineup with, Ibarra, with Finley, with Quintero and Angelo up front.
Yeah, I feel pretty much the same way as you. With the one exception, I think I would put Ike Opara in and keep Boxall on the bench. And, of course, Coleman, compared to last year, Coleman has just made huge strides. I don't know if it's possible for him to learn any more, but this year he's looked really good. Defensively strong, distributing the ball well. I think he's almost your first name on the sheet. Almost, yeah. Well, Metanire, obviously, if he's healthy or if he's not suspended, he's the one you put in first, and then Monone. But, Coleman has played really well defensively for us.
I think so. I don't know what happened, between last season and this season, but our defense has looked so incredible this season, whereas last season, we almost expected to concede 2 or 3 every game.
That's right.
This season, many shutouts. We've been getting a lot of, close games where we win, and it's really fun to see a different dimension to how we can play because it's not just that we're scoring goals, it's that we're holding up teams out. Big name players like Zlatan and Wayne Rooney aren't being able to score against us, and it's a good feeling to get, shut them down on the defensive side.
Yeah, and it didn't happen all at once. There were some games early on, I think, where we gave up a few too many goals, but just prior to Atlanta, we looked really strong defensively. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the Hertha Berlin game, but that was a pretty strong defensive performance against a very strong Bundesliga team. So I feel that defensively, obviously, we've made huge improvements over last year.
I would agree. So going into this Philadelphia game, what do you think is the scoreline? What's your prediction?
Well, something you said earlier kind of makes me a little bit pessimistic. You were talking about how Philadelphia spread the goals across their team. And I think that we're likely to concede 1, but I think we get 2. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 Minnesota win.
I think that, the addition of Metanire back into the squad has proven that we can shut teams out even if they are known for scoring goals. They have good players. I think we'll get the shutout, and I think a 2-0. All right,
I hope so.
I think that closes our show. So thank you for watching.